Hello and welcome to day 23 of Vlogmas. We are currently travelling down to Cornwall to spend Christmas with our family. Well, clearly not currently, but in your time.
Yeah, in the future.
In the future, the timey-wimey future, we will be travelling down to Cornwall. So this is a pre-recorded video.
Yeah.
And for the last goodness knows how many Vlogmases, we've always sat down and done a fun little Q&A video where you all send in questions and we sit down and answer them. So that is what this video is.
It's also time travel.
Yes, that is true.
So, bonus.
It is also fact of the day. Because everything that we answer is going to be facts. So
including the questions that are about our opinions about things. Those are also
facts. Okay. Okay, so I have a whole host of questions, a whole host of facts, I was about to say. A whole host of questions in this book. And I'm just going to read them out in order and we'll answer them. So let's see what we have. The first question is, cats or dogs? Which would we prefer as pets?
Well, it's a tricky one.
It really isn't for you at all, is it?
It's a question with only one answer though, isn't it?
Go on.
Cats.
Cats.
Yeah.
I'm less adamant.
Yeah, no, but like compared to dogs.
No, I don't know really. Dogs are cute, but I'm not sure I'd want a dog all the time.
But like having children.
Yeah. But then I also have I know people that have cats and their cats are worse than having children. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We keep thinking about getting a cat and sometime in the next year we will be making a decision about whether we get a cat or not.
But that means Helen will be making a decision. I've already made the decision.
You already want one?
I've made a decision. Whether it will be the same decision as other people and will result in the cat emerging is another question.
We will see. We will see. Okay, next question. If you were a type of cheese, what would you be and why? Okay,
you should answer this one first because I need to think.
Oh no, I was banking on you already having an answer.
No, I don't have an answer. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm cheddar.
Boring?
Boring, dependable, always reliable, goes with everything. I like to think that I'm cheddar, but I don't think I am. I think I'm probably some strange, unpleasant, smelly cheese that no one's heard of.
I don't think you're an unpleasant, smelly cheese.
Well, you just have strange tastes, obviously.
I don't like unpleasant, smelly cheeses.
The facts would seem to indicate otherwise.
I don't know what type of cheese I would be. The cheese that jumped into my head straight away was Emmental, but I'm not quite sure what that says about me, other than the fact that I really like Emmental. Yeah,
it's a difficult one to disentangle the cheese that is just like your favourite cheese from the cheese that characterises you as a person.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You are a bit nutty.
Yeah, maybe, and full of holes.
And I don't know, I'm relatively well-rounded. I wouldn't say there's anything missing.
So we failed to answer that question. Sorry.
I think you did all right.
This question is specifically for you.
Specifically for me.
Yep. Says if Tom could be a Disney princess, who would he be?
Okay, so my answer to this question is limited by my limited knowledge of Disney princesses. Just to preface with that. But I don't know, like one of the cool ones. Not one of the kind of ones that lack agency. One of the ones that is cool. So like the one from Brave, I've forgotten her name.
Merida.
Merida, yes. That would be her.
There we go.
Because she's cool and runs through the forest. That's all I remember happening. But she seemed to have agency while she was running.
Yeah. What is our favourite thing about living in Scotland?
Don't know. What is our favourite thing about
I like that it feels more like home. We both grew up in Cornwall, which is why we're currently on our way to Cornwall for a family Christmas.
Yeah.
And there's something about living in Scotland, I think maybe specifically where we live, it feels a lot more like Cornwall because you've got the coast and the countryside and kind of things like that. So it definitely, I think it just feels more like home.
Yeah, rural, laid back, not too big a town.
Yeah.
Cities. Yeah.
Scotland's quite liberal as well.
Yeah.
And I quite like that.
It's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Scotland is comfortable. We like Scotland.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whiskey is closer.
If we were knitted gnomes, which would we be?
What an interesting question.
I'm pretty sure Laura sent this question in.
Right.
Local Laura.
Right, because you know a number of Lauras.
Yeah,
so.
you know them too because we play D&D with them. I'm pretty sure this was Laura's fault, this one. We have been and actually picked up our gnomes.
You have.
So we have props.
In preparation.
So I picked this one. I can't remember the names of them all, but I picked this one. It's not going to focus because Tom's face is there. Go away, Tom's face. There we go. I picked this one because I often wear pigtails, so that was an obvious thing. And she has an ice cream, and I have a very sweet tooth.
Plus teal.
Plus the colours, yeah, the colours are very much my colours as well. So this is me in gnome form.
I went for this dude. Face it out of the way.
Why did you pick that one?
Well, he looks a bit sleepy and a bit droopy. And the colours blue and grey. So he seems like he might be sat quietly somewhere reading with a nice pair of socks and a cardigan.
He's the most academic looking gnome.
Maybe that's it. Can't imagine why, but maybe that's it. But he's cool.
Okay.
And I like the colour work. I like it a lot because I know how much Helen hates doing colour work, but it looks so amazing.
It's a good name.
Yep.
It's a good name. Who cooks the best breakfast?
Well, I do most of the cooking.
You do.
When we cook.
He does. He does most of the cooking. I'm also terrible at getting up in the mornings.
Yeah. So I think that would be me. And
So
I like a cooked breakfast.
It's a really easy question to answer because Tom, if we're having cooked breakfast, you are making it.
What do you like having for cooked breakfast? What's the favourite things that I make?
I like a bacon sandwich.
Bacon sandwich, classic.
Yeah, just a classic bacon sandwich, definitely.
Bit of avocado in there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I know. My favourite would be bacon sandwich with ketchup in.
Okay.
But I don't mind. Bacon and avocado is quite nice too.
Well, I won't waste avocado on you.
Yeah, just give me bacon and ketchup and I'm happy.
I'll have more of that and you can have the ketchup.
Sticking with the domestic theme, are we enjoying owning our own home?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, it's more responsibility, but it means stuff actually gets done rather than relying on a rental agency.
Although some stuff doesn't get done.
No, that's true. Because although you get to do DIY, that doesn't always happen because other things have to happen too.
We had this room. I mean, those of you who have watched for a long time will know that when we moved in. So we've lived in this house for about 1.5 years now, and it's the first house we've been able to buy. We were renting up until then. And we had this room converted from our garage last year, and when we had it done, the tiler for the hallway, we had to have a radiator removed out of the hallway, and at the time the tiler said to us, right, well, I can come back and fix the tiles where I've had to take the radiator out, and you know, it will be this amount, and but I can't do it until September. And this was in June, and we were like, okay, well, don't worry about it. We'll sort it. We'll retile the hallway ourselves.
Yeah. Still not done it.
Still not done it.
Still not done.
We still have bare patches in the hallway.
So I think now it's a matter of getting round to calling.
Now we just need to get a tiler to come and do it, don't we?
And then waiting another thing. But it would still be quicker than waiting for me to find.
Although you did do the floor in the bathroom.
I did do the floor in the bathroom with the spare floor.
With the spare flooring from in here, and he's pretty handy when it comes to DIY.
When I have time.
Yeah. But no, definitely, we're definitely enjoying owning our own home rather than renting.
Yeah. And gardening feels like it's worthwhile.
you love gardening.
Gardening in rented properties a bit. It's nice, but if you know you're not going to be staying there for long, it does feel a bit strange.
Hopefully this year I will have time to do some more kind of spring-summer vlogs and things like that. In which case I can share your garden.
Because it'll be the first season with the garden, because I only put it in this summer, spring-summer.
So he's done quite a lot to the garden since we moved in. So hopefully come spring-summer I will do some more vlogs and be able to share that. A bit more, share the garden then.
Yeah. We have before and after pictures.
We do. Right. Where did the name Giddy Yarns come from? And I'm afraid it's a really, really boring answer. I get asked this quite often. And the answer is terribly boring because our surname is Giddens. And that's basically where it came from. I was using GiddyHelen as a username on a couple of places before I kind of set up my business. And when I started the podcast, which came first, I picked Giddy Knits because it just fitted with the whole Giddens surname. And it's just grown from there, basically. It just started because of my surname. Nothing exciting, no big story, I'm afraid.
She's not actually particularly giddy. She's relatively down to earth.
If you were an animal, which animal would you be?
Other than human, I guess.
Other than human.
Oh no, this is easy. Sloth. Straight up, just hang out all day, being awesome, being super cool, sleeping.
Yeah.
Up safe in the canopy.
Yeah.
That's it.
I really don't know. I've not thought this through. I've not actually considered what animal I would be. I'm not a massive animal person.
Come and be a sloth with me.
So, I don't really know what animal I would like to be.
Meerkat.
Just be the little meerkat. I'll be the one sitting on the top looking out.
Yeah.
There you go. You've had a squirrel impression from Jasper and a meerkat impression from me this Vlogmas.
Yeah.
I like the idea of being a horse.
Ooh.
I don't know why. There's just something about the way horses move.
Majestic.
Yeah, I could
Powerful.
imagine being a horse.
Free.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know really at all. Right, now this is a good question. I like this question. This is a question that a lot of you out there will be like, what are they talking about? And then a small portion of you out there who know what we're talking about will really enjoy. Hannah from the Corner of Craft asked, who is our favourite Critical Role character and player? So Critical Role, while Tom's thinking about it, for anyone that doesn't know, Critical Role is a YouTube series basically where a group of voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons and they broadcast it. And it is incredible. It is like the pinnacle of Dungeons and Dragons and it is really, really good. So yeah, favourite Critical Role character and player?
Yeah, I mean, so that's a really difficult question. So I'm not so familiar with Campaign 1 characters, so I won't pick one of those. Campaign 3, I still feel is finding its feet. So I think it has to be Caleb. I think, just like the depth of his backstory, and yeah, the tragedy of that, and the way Liam played him. I think, yeah, it'd have to be.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about player?
What's your character? What I think of a player.
See, I'm struggling to decide on my character, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure. I really enjoyed Jester in Campaign 2.
Yeah.
She was just fun and silly and... Yeah, I really, really enjoyed Jester. But I also really liked Lordna in Campaign 3.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Fresh cut grass. I love Ashton, actually.
Yeah.
Ashton's super cool. And Bo.
There we go. All the characters. What about player?
Player. I think that's a tricky one.
Oh, we have children interrupting. Okay, I've got a bit lost where we were. Player. Favourite player. Did you give an answer or had you not given an answer?
I didn't give an answer.
You still don't know?
Sam. Why not?
Yeah?
Just mayhem.
Yeah, mayhem. I can see that.
And the way he always brings in things to annoy Matt is always funny. And the adverts are just very entertaining. So for colour and humour, I'd say Sam. But in terms of playing characters, I don't know.
Yeah.
What about
Okay. Favourite player. I would say Marisha. I really like Marisha. I really like the character she's played, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I just really like Marisha.
Yeah.
But I also really like Taliesin. I think he's understated. Like there's something.
Yeah.
Just like he always throws little bits in there that sort of suddenly make me laugh.
Yeah, no, he's a very good role player. I mean, I don't like him as Kingsley so much. But I really love him as Ashton, and Caduceus was. Yeah,
Caduceus was awesome. Yeah. Right, we could talk about Critical Role all day, so we probably shouldn't. We should probably move on because quite a lot of you won't have a clue what we're talking about. But I would recommend checking out Critical Role because it is really, really fun. If you don't know anything about D&D, it's still really fun to watch.
Yeah, if you have 16, 20 hours a week to spend.
Yeah, that is the only issue. Okay, next question. Have the boys picked up Scottish accents?
Not really.
Not really. They've picked up like turns of phrase that are used up here quite often.
Yeah.
And actually, that's quite funny because I've chatted to a few Scottish friends who don't realise some of the turns of phrase that they use that are very Scottish. Like they say shot instead of taking turns. So, like, can I have a shot instead of can I have a turn? And that's quite a Scottish turn of phrase. They've also kind of they say away to a lot now.
Away to.
Yeah, instead of I'm going to, they say like I'm away to put my shoes on, which again is quite a Scottish turn of phrase.
Yeah.
So they're definitely picking up kind of turns of phrases, but not accents so much. But then neither Tom or I have got accent in any way. So.
Well, we do.
Well, no, but I mean, not a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
No, so they're more likely to pick up our accent than the accent in their environment.
Yeah. I think research tends to show that the family home
tends to be the strongest
influence.
That's the word I wanted on accent. Right, what else have we got? These are questions about me and dyeing. How did I decide to start dyeing? I was bored on maternity leave. Well, I was. When I was on maternity leave with Jasper, I'd kind of discovered yarn, hand-dyed yarn in like the year before I had Jasper. And then while I was on maternity leave, I just wanted try something new, something to do. So I picked up food colouring and some bare yarn and gave it a go. And then I decided to try and sell some of it. Like once I'd stopped using food colouring and started using proper dyes and stuff. I look at like the stuff that I sold right at the beginning, and I probably should have tried dyeing for maybe 6 months longer than I did do before I started selling stuff, because some of it was embarrassing. But you have to start somewhere, don't you? So yeah, that's kind of where I started. I was bored on maternity leave and just wanted to do something a bit different, and it grew from there. I'm going to skip to a question a little bit further on while I'm talking about the business, because somebody asked if I'm still glad I started my business. And yeah, I absolutely am. It's grown, and this year it's definitely been full on. My clubs have been really hard work this year. I've had shows on and all kinds of things like that. So it's been really, really busy. But I mean, the growth is amazing, and I definitely wouldn't complain at it. And it still lets me be there for the kids when they need stuff. It lets me go to kind of school activities and be able to pick them up from school and be home from school.
Be parent helper on day out.
Be parent helper when we have days out, and like when they did the ice skating, I was able to go and help out for the whole of the ice skating. It gives me that flexibility, which I think is really, really, I'm really lucky to be able to have that. So yeah, I'm definitely still glad I started it, and at the moment I don't see me going anywhere or doing anything different. So hopefully, it's kind of dependent on you guys, really. if people all the time, people still keep buying my yarn, then I will still keep dyeing it. That's kind of the thing, really.
Yeah, supply and demand.
Yeah. Someone also asked about next year's advent calendar. And in fact, I think there were a couple of people that asked about next year's advent calendar. I am doing an advent calendar next year. I already have my theme and I'm quite excited about it. I have started planning it out. I'm not going to reveal my theme yet. But
I'm doing audience reactions.
I'm not going to reveal it yet. But I'm quite looking forward to it. It's something a little bit different. We're still sticking kind of literary, but it is going to be different next year, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that at some point next year. This one's for you. You're knitting.
Oh.
Who taught you to knit?
You did.
And do you still knit?
No.
And what have you knit?
I knit 2 hats, a cowl, and 3/4 of a jumper.
Yeah, in age 6 to 7.
Yes, I was knitting it for Arthur, and I thought, no, it was 7 to 8.
7 to 8? Is it 7 to 8? Okay.
And I thought, I'll knit 7 to 8 because that's a few sizes up, and by the time I finish it, then it will fit him. But it's still not finished.
He's now 9.
And he's now 9. So if Helen finishes it in time, Jasper might get to wear it.
If I finish the sleeves, Jasper might get to wear it.
Sleeves of death.
Yeah.
And I've not knit.
And he's not knit anything since.
No. But I did a hat and a cowl, and I thought, that's enough. I've got a hat and a cowl now. I don't need
and
to
here's
knit
me
anything.
thinking, oh, great, I've got him knitting. He might be able to get me to do. He might be able to do samples for me. No. And now you've discovered Warhammer.
I have no time.
You have no time. That is all your crafting time is Warhammer now.
Yeah.
How did I get into knitting? And what do I love making? I got into knitting when a very good friend of mine who I went to school with was having a baby. So her daughter is now 12. I may have got that wrong. 11 or 12? 12. I think she's 12. And she'll be watching, so if I've got that completely wrong, Kathy, and she's 11 and not 12, then I'm really, really, really sorry.
Such a terrible friend. Such a terrible friend.
I think she's 12. So she was, when she was expecting, I decided I'm going to knit something for the baby, and I picked up a book, which actually is probably on the bookshelf over there, and I could have showed you, but I can't. There's too many wires to get across the room at the moment. It was called Nitty Gritty, I think, and I taught myself to knit using this book. The first thing I knit was a horrendous scarf, and then I moved on from there, and I ended up knitting a cardigan for this baby, and I look back and I doubt the baby ever wore it. The cardigan was hideous, and yes, but that's what got me into knitting, and from there I kind of kept knitting and discovered hand-dyed yarn around the time Arthur was 2, something like that, and haven't looked back since, really.
Well, apart from when you were pregnant with Jasper,
and
you had knitting aversion. And
when I was pregnant I couldn't touch yarn.
Yeah, like
so
yarn.
glad I hadn't started my business at that point, but basically I couldn't touch yarn. The feel of yarn of any kind just made me nauseous for the whole 9 months. I couldn't knit. I couldn't do anything that involved yarn. It was really, really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bizarre. What's it like being so far from our family?
Dunno. Seems alright.
Our family will be watching this, and here's us going, yeah, it's fine.
Internet. We go down and visit.
Yeah,
I mean, like
we've been away from family. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, we're going down to Cornwall to visit family. So we both kind of grew up in Cornwall. Both of our families are in Cornwall. And when we first got married, we moved up to London for Tom to have a job, which is about 6-hour drive from Cornwall and from where we were. We had the kids when we were living in London. So although we've moved to Scotland, which is now like an 11-12 hour drive, hasn't changed much. Like,
No, like we maybe see them like twice a year instead of like 3 times a year.
yeah, something like that. And I've never had that, like, mum and dad next door being able to help with the kids. So from that perspective, moving from London to Scotland hasn't made a big difference because we've never really had that with family being really kind of close physically. Yeah. We're definitely close emotionally. And yeah, I talk to my parents all the time. They've got a little WhatsApp set up with Arthur, which is quite nice. And yeah, it's not ideal. It would be nice to be closer. But unfortunately,
there's not many jobs down there.
There's not, well, especially not for you. There's not really any university jobs that would work down there.
Yeah, and particularly now I'm a professor, there's much less mobility.
Yeah, so it's just never worked time-wise and job-wise and stuff like that. So yeah.
So we visit.
Gives us a great holiday location though, with family in Cornwall.
It's good for the summers.
Yeah. Talking of jobs and being a professor, are you enjoying your new position?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I do the same thing now that I did when I first started, like 10 years ago. Like my job is the same, but now when I complain and have opinions,
people listen.
People nod and go, interesting, rather than saying, shut up, we're not doing that. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I think the way the promotion system works is that you're basically applying based on the work you're already doing.
Yeah, so it's based on like your experience. So like the experience that I've accumulated across my career so far, like publications and conferences and teaching different stuff and developing courses. It's the same stuff that you do like all the way through. Or maybe that's just what I've done and some people don't do that like early on. But so I've just accumulated that experience, and so then that's...
Yeah, so it doesn't change your job role particularly.
Yeah, I'm involved in more strategic discussions now, I think, within the department. It's like with the head of department and various other people, head of research and stuff. So a bit more strategic discussion, but like...
Yeah, and it's not really changed your schedule at all.
No, because that's still mostly just teaching.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't get less teaching because I'm a professor.
You just get to say you're a professor.
Yeah, and they do more other stuff on top of that. So
yeah.
That's fine.
But you're enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah. Complete change of track now. If we could only play one game for the rest of our lives, what would it be? There's an easy answer to that.
Yeah, so other than D&D.
Other than D&D, because Dungeons and Dragons is so varied. Like that could be the only game I play for the rest of my life easily.
Yeah, because it can be just anything.
Yeah. If you're relatively new to my channel, what you won't necessarily know, because I've not shared it through Vlogmas this year particularly, is that Tom and I have a great love of board games. And all kinds of geeky, nerdy board games. We have quite the collection. And on previous Vlogmas series we've definitely gone through some of our board games and things like that. And so I will try, she says, I've no idea whether I'll actually do this. I will try and remember to pop a card up, which I think goes over there, above Tom's head, maybe, which will link you to one of the previous videos where we've talked about board games and stuff like that. But we both decided to pick our favourite board game, and if we could only play one board game for the rest of our life, which one would we play?
Yep.
Do you want me to go first?
I don't know, do you?
I'll go first. So this is the one that I picked, Betrayal at House on the Hill. It is basically a haunted mansion board game. So you build, I'll show you the back, and I can actually show you. You build a house out of these different tile cards, all the different rooms and all of that kind of thing. And each time you go into specific rooms, you have to pick up omen cards. And at some point during the game, when the right number of omen cards are out and you roll the right number of dice, a haunt starts. But the amazing thing with the game is that there are so many different variations on what can happen. So someone in your team, someone can turn traitor, aliens can attack, a vampire can turn up, ghosts can come and try and kill you, there'll be a giant earthquake and you'll have to escape the house. Like there's so many different variations of what happens that every time you play the game it's completely different.
It's amazing.
So that's my favourite game.
Brilliant. It's the wrong answer though. Although it is an amazing game. The game we should be picking is this.
Tilt down a little bit so they don't get the glare.
Dinosaur Island. Dun, dun, which is incredibly garishly 90s colours.
Oh, it's wonderfully 90s.
It's beautiful. So this is not Jurassic Park, basically. So you have an island, and you have to create dinosaurs, and it's done in stages. So the first stage is researching and collecting DNA, and then you use your DNA to build dinosaurs, and you buy other things, and you buy different attractions for your park, and you buy different dinosaurs using different DNA, and then you make money, and it's quite complicated, but like the way it works is quite intuitive, and it's just really, really fun. And yeah, and it's great. And then you have to have a security level, and then if your security level is too low, your dinosaurs
will eat people in your park.
But that just means that you lose some money.
Yeah,
like you have to balance you still pay, but then maybe people get, so it's like a business decision as to how many people get eaten.
It is good. It is good fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it is. It is a fun game, definitely.
So yeah, I would highly recommend that.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of the questions. There are 3 more questions. Best book of 2022.
Would you want to go first?
Well, I talked about books the other day. I gave like a highlight of my favourite books that I've read this year. And I'm still struggling to pick a best out of those. I think if I had to go for a best, I would probably go with the Wayfarer series, but I couldn't pick a book from the Wayfarer series. I'm not sure which one of them was my favourite.
Okay. Well, I think I would probably pick Orality and Literacy by Walter J. Ong, which is a study of the differences between oral culture and written or literary culture.
Favourite novel!
And how that shift changes the cognitive operation of the human mind, because we think we operate differently when we write things down compared to oral culture.
Favourite novel?
Oh.
Or fiction book?
That was theory. Okay. So Dune. I read Dune this year for the first time, and that was amazing. So I think I'd say Dune.
There we go.
It's an epic tale, and incredible, and it just blew me away when I read it. It just sucked me straight in.
We haven't seen the film yet, actually.
No, we haven't.
I would quite like to watch the film.
Yeah, I think the film is only the first
book
of the first book, if that makes sense.
I've not read it, so it's on my list to read, but I would quite like to see the film.
Yeah.
Penultimate question. Does being a dyer take the fun out of knitting and buying yarn?
Well, I have to say that probably it does. I mean, I don't enjoy dyeing and knitting as much as I used to now that I do it for a job.
I definitely enjoy buying yarn as much as I used to. I love supporting other dyers. I love buying yarns and things that I wouldn't necessarily dye myself. And it doesn't detract from the pleasures of buying yarn, that's for sure. Does it take the fun out of knitting? I don't think it takes the fun out of knitting other people's yarn. It takes my time away. I have a lot less time to knit nowadays, and I'm always really conscious that maybe I should be knitting with my yarn and things like that. I think one of my goals going into next year is to give more to sample knitters. I'm not very good at giving up control over things like that to do with my business. So I always tend to kind of try and do it all myself, but I've had sample knitters before and they've been amazing. And actually, I think giving more to sample knitters would give me more time to free up to be able to knit other things that I like and maybe make it more enjoyable to knit because I won't be worrying about sample knits.
Your answer was much better than mine.
Yeah. Right, final question. The final question. Oh, it's Arthur's. That's Jasper's favourite song at the moment. Is the final countdown, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's constantly singing it.
He's worked out how to get the Google Home to turn it on.
It's the final countdown.
Yeah. Careful, you might have to pay royalties.
I think I can get away with that. If you could only have one part of Christmas dinner as the whole meal, what would you have?
Roast potatoes. Definitely. Good roast potatoes, but not bad roast potatoes.
Are we still allowed gravy?
Well, even so, a good roast potato, goose fat, bit of salt. Yeah, that's it. Particularly with if there's gravy involved.
Yeah.
But the roast potatoes are always the best bit, I think.
I don't know. So not the turkey.
No, because
that would be really boring on its own. I love turkey, but
well,
yeah.
You're wrong.
Not the roast potatoes for me, because too much potato is just, I can't handle too much potato.
More for me.
Like the pigs in blankets.
Yeah, I was tempted to make a pigs in blankets.
Pigs in blankets I could maybe do. Vegetables, what veg do we usually have? I mean, like, roast parsnips.
Oh, actually, yeah, honey roast parsnips.
Honey roast parsnips. Or my mum does the celeriac. Yep. The lemon and thyme celeriac. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. No, I think I'd have to go with the stuffing.
Sprouts done properly.
Yeah.
Shredded.
Oh no! Bacon and chestnuts. Sprouts with bacon and chestnuts, but not shredded.
Shredded. There's a nice sauce.
We argue about this every year. The stuffing. My mum does an amazing chestnut stuffing.
Not a fan of chestnut stuffing.
Do you not like my mum's chestnut stuffing?
I like sausage meat stuffing.
Yeah, that's my one. My mum's is chestnut and sausage meat.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I think there's a Delia Smith, like really herby one, like lemon and herb.
Oh yeah, no, that's the one you don't like. Yeah, no. My mum's stuffing has got chestnuts and sausage meat in it.
Okay,
and is really nice.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. My mum does an amazing stuffing.
Not as good as a good potato.
Yeah, but that would be my choice. But I could live on the Boxing Day bubble and squeak forever.
Would you say bubble and squeak? Just had that.
That's not part of the Christmas dinner. That's like the entire Christmas dinner in one bowl.
Could have just the gravy as like a bowl of soup.
Yeah. Can I? Does Christmas pudding count? Is that part of the Christmas dinner? I was tempted
by that, but I'm not sure I'd want.
Yeah, I'd not sure I'd want just. No, it needs brandy butter with it, definitely.
Just brandy butter.
Just brandy butter. There we go. Right.
Crunchy.
We need to get these children into bed. I think their film has finished, so they're starting to get noisy and distracted. But I hope you enjoyed our Q&A session. And we will see you again tomorrow when hopefully we will be in Cornwall. Oh, we will have arrived in Cornwall because we're currently travelling to Cornwall.
Yep.
And it should all be good. And it will be nearly Christmas.
Yeah. Hello from the past.
Hello from the past. And goodbye.
And goodbye from the past.